I'm Rashi Vatz. This is Fox 26 Crime Files. Imagine a DWI driver hits your house and just takes off. Well, it did happen in the Oak Forest area near Mangum Road and Chantilly Lane exactly a month ago. Now the question is, where's the driver? Well, here's Fox 26's Matthew Seedorf.
Dramatic home surveillance video of a car launching into a Northwest Houston home like a missile. Shockwaves jolting everyone inside.
Like a sonic boom, loud crash. I mean, imagine shattering glass and loud rocks, bricks being like cast upon your floor and scattered all at the same time.
A month later, Cambry Lindsay's home off Chantilly Lane is still boarded up.
Right here is where you could see the hood of the car.
Her and her 11-year-old son had been sleeping around 2 a.m. that Monday morning. Thankfully, no one seriously hurt.
Thank heavens, nobody's bedroom is right here. There was not a human being here. If it had been a different time of day, we could have been here at work. Let me tell you, every time a big rumbling truck or a big loud motorcycle or something goes by, I feel my body clench up and I can track.
You can see the suspected driver get out of the car and run around out of this neighborhood. The passenger says she doesn't even know who this guy is.
She says she did not know him at that moment. When the police came, she claimed not to know this person.
He was driving her car.
Right? Isn't that curious?
Walls, windows, furniture, the ceiling. Cambry estimates $70,000 worth of damage. Right now, police still looking for this driver. If this driver is watching tonight, what do you want to tell him?
Take accountability. Be responsible. Step forward and do the right thing.
That was Matthew Seedorf reporting. New video shows the moments Houston police officers shot an armed man accused of going on a wild crime spree. This all happened back in April. Police say 27-year-old Ronnie Cesar first stabbed a construction worker and then ran over him with his own vehicle, killing him. Cesar then crashed into the lobby of an apartment on Buffalo Park Drive, where police say he stabbed at least one more person. Cesar then rushed at officers with a knife. He was shot and died in a hospital. Wednesday of this week, gunfire erupted in the middle of a busy gas station parking lot over in southeast Houston. This is after a wanted man opened fire on 2 Houston police officers. Fox 26's Gabby Hart spoke to a man who heard the shooting happen.
Yeah, for majority of the day, this gas station was taped off with crime scene tape after police were trying to arrest a suspect who had an active warrant out for his arrest. That suspect almost immediately opening fire on them. When they pulled him over here, you could still see the glass and remnants left behind from that shootout.
All I heard was a firecracker. And then, next thing you know, there was a bunch of police officers surrounding the area.
Mike Cho was working inside of the Exxon gas station off of Gulf Freeway around 11:30 Wednesday morning when a police shooting unfolded right in the parking lot.
Like a bunch of pop noises, and then that's all I heard.
Houston police tried to capture a suspect as a part of a multi-agency investigation. Police say that suspect, a white man in his early 20s, was wanted on an open narcotics warrant.
They asked him to get out the car. A few words were exchanged. The suspect got out the car and immediately started firing upon our officers.
One officer was shot 2 times.
Injury in the pelvic. Also, he sustained minor injury to the chest area. Thank God for his ballistic vest and a flashlight. I think it probably saved his life.
Both officers returned fire, shooting that suspect multiple times. Backup arrived and rushed the injured officer to the hospital themselves, not waiting on an ambulance. Then they started working to save the life of the suspect.
Once that scene was safe, our officers immediately rendered first aid. But I'm very upset with what's going on in our nation, in our state, and our county with gun violence, with suspects who have no damn regard for anybody else.
Well, the good news is the officer who was injured is recovering at Memorial Hermann. He is expected to make a full recovery. No other officers were injured. That suspect was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. You can check for updates on our website, fox26houston.com. For now, I'm Gabby Hart, Fox 26 News.
All right, now some chaos that was all caught on camera. Fox's Randy Wimbley has the story out of Detroit.
A routine clothing exchange takes a chaotic turn and a round of bumper cars ensues. It all went down at the Shell gas station in Van Buren Township early Tuesday morning.
What runs through your mind when you see something unfold like that?
I mean, I think people just need to make wiser decisions on what they do in the world.
Police say the women doing this clothing exchange likely knew each other. The two parties got into an argument, leading to the woman in that white Chevy Malibu to hit another woman with her car before slamming into two others.
The woman then pumps the trunk and goes after someone with a bat. And if all that were not bad enough.
Was there a baby in the car? Did she just pull a baby out of that car?
There was a baby in the back seat the entire time. It's unclear if the child was in a car seat. Police say there's no indication the baby was hurt.
To have that type of atmosphere around, with children and everything, is really not like a safe environment or whatever. And I really think people should, think about their actions before they do them.
Detective John Bettendorf of Van Buren PD tracked the woman down. Araya Bennett is now charged with 3 felonies, malicious destruction of property, and 2 counts of assault with a dangerous weapon. She's also facing a pair of misdemeanors.
Right now, a 74-year-old woman is recovering after she was attacked in a church parking lot. Teofilia de Leon was walking into Iglesia Bautista Oreb Church. This is Sunday morning when she says a man punched her in the face and knocked her to the ground. Police say that man turned out to be Travion Rogers, who also stole the woman's phone and wallet before taking off. He has since been arrested. De Leon suffered broken toes and lost 2 front teeth in this altercation, but she says she's ready to make sure her attacker stays off the streets. And after a years-long wait, jurors found Andre Jackson guilty of stabbing Josue Flores to death as the 11-year-old walked home from school. Fox 26's Dominique Keith with the emotional finish.
That little boy is in this courtroom speaking to us all. It's me, and he killed me.
Prosecutor John Jordan finished his closing argument with that, referring to 11-year-old Josue Flores' DNA on Andre Jackson's jacket, which is sitting in the courtroom as evidence. Although defense attorneys called the investigation, quote, a poor one, and questioned whether the DNA evidence was contaminated.
This case is every defense attorney's worst nightmare. It is a textbook example of how innocent people get convicted.
Jurors ultimately believed prosecutors that Jackson, a former Marine Corps veteran who was living in a Salvation Army shelter, without warning attacked the honor student as he simply walked home from middle school. Although there wasn't video of Josue being stabbed more than 20 times that day in 2016, a number of witnesses saw part or all of it, and several cameras captured Jackson running from the scene.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Andre Timothy Jackson, guilty of murder as charged in the indictment.
Jackson sobbed after jurors found him guilty, and his mom and uncle also wiped tears. Josue's family has waited years for this. They also cried after the verdict, getting justice for their little boy who loved science and wanted to be a doctor.
How appropriate that you can use back in that jury room science to convict his killer.
Testimony in the punishment phase is set to begin at 12:15 in the afternoon. Jackson faces 5 years to life in prison. Josue Flores' parents say they will talk with the media after sentencing. At the Harris County Criminal Courthouse, I'm Dominique Keith, Fox 26 News.
Houston police believe an older couple were the victims of jugging. Surveillance video shows a 90-year-old woman and 87-year-old man walking into a restaurant on Tidwell near Wayside. A man holds open the door for them, but then reaches over and snatches the woman's purse. Police say the couple had just withdrawn cash at the bank, so it's possible they were followed. The crook took off in a black 4-door sedan. Well, this has been widely reported. Homicides are up year to year in Houston, but how about surrounding cities? Well, Fox 26's Matthew Seedorf takes a look.
The number of violent crimes climbing in most major cities across the country, but some places now seeing a decrease.
I've been looking at the crime statistics for the last 5 years, and those seem to be going down in almost every category.
So far this year, there have been 0 homicides reported in Galveston, supporting a recent downward trend over the last few years. In 2020, there were 6 murders and 2 last year. Does that surprise you?
Not really. I mean, coming off of the pandemic, you know, everybody's trying to have fun, I would think. Live life.
It just doesn't seem correct.
I definitely feel like, the environment out here, Galveston's, for the most part, just been always relaxing and calm.
Yeah.
If our homicide numbers are down, crime is usually down across the board. So whatever we got to do to make Galveston a safe home and a safe tourist attraction, that's what we're going to do.
Galveston police tell us they face staffing issues just like major police departments across the country.
We're currently hiring as many as we possibly can.
And in recent years, they've changed how they police. What do you think is working for the Galveston Police Department?
We actually switched to different shifts. We went from 8-hour shifts to 12-hour shifts, putting more officers on the street at any given time. We have created new districts within the city. We have created a special operations division where, we have hot zones. We have a high crime area where we'll deploy that entire division to that specific area.
A downward trend the city hopes continues.
I think we're all concentrating on making sure that our public stays as safe as possible.
And that was Matthew Seedorf reporting. And that is this week's Fox 26 Crime Files.